The Rime of the Ancient Mariner is one of my favourite poems. Killing the Albatross and the subsequent effects of that, because I'm interested in that whole area, the Southern Ocean, the plight of the albatross, which is going on. It bridges, and I wanted to do that with both of the bottles, to bridge the past and the present. And so the Icescape, that's a section of the poem, but again, it's very much to do with contemporary issues. So, we're not looking at the Southern Ocean necessarily. If we look at the Arctic and the rate of melting that's going on there and in Greenland, and the consequences of that with rising sea levels, it's a really extreme effect, and it will affect all of us, even a little Watchet. And so that was what I wanted to sort of get across, not just rooting it in Coleridge's poetry, although that's very relevant. And the other one was more widespread, I suppose, because a lot of things came into my head whilst I was doing that. The initial sort of idea was based on the stitch work that sailors used to do in the 19th century, 18th, 19th century. And I guess because they had to do repairing sails, so they knew about stitch work. And I went to an exhibition quite a few years ago at Tate Britain, and it was under the title of folk art, but they had a lot of sailors' work there. Most of it, or a lot of it, in the form of valentines. So these sailors would stitch these incredibly sentimental and poignant messages to their families and their loves back at home. And they were just beautiful. And also my aunt used to have, she had a whole collection of wool pictures, which were stitched by sailors of the ships that they sailed in. And also pieces that were made of shells, which had messages like home sweet home or home again. And again, I found all of that very, very affecting. And so I wanted to do a stitched piece using what I could, gather around. And so the outside of it, I picked up all this coralline, which is not coral, it's an algae, but it's really beautiful. It's like a skeleton when you look at it very, very closely. And that's being affected as well by warming climate. The images, again, coming probably from the sailors, was whaling, and what a horrendous industry that was. And so the smaller bottle came because I was thinking of the whale with the young whale next to it swimming along, which was the sort of the breath of it. And then from that, I came right up to now, and I was reading about and listening to, that constant traffic of inflatables crossing the Mediterranean, these refugees who, through no fault of their own, some of them obviously some people are going for work and to find a better life, but a lot of those people are fleeing horrendous situations. And it sort of made me start to think, looking at that little bottle on top of the bigger vessel, that it was that kind of vulnerability where you've got a small inflatable in this sea where you're completely at the mercy of the elements. And so I wanted, I know that's a hell of a lot to kind of weave into one little bottle or big bottle, but those were all the ideas that were sparking off as I was doing it. And again, I just wanted to open it out to that idea of family, friends, and particularly homeland. And I know I read about one of the young men that was found who had a small packet of soil stitched into his clothes of the home that he was leaving. And, it's not an easy thing for people to do. You can you can apply it to all kinds of different situations, even situations of just people leaving their hometown because they have to go and get work. We have been made to look more closely at where we live, the people around us. I think a lot of good things have come out of this as far as community is concerned.